Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to cover something very interesting to understand and really incorporate in your life, in your daily life until you're not here anymore, which is that you are not your thoughts. And this is like very powerful once we understand it. Today we're going to cover a little bit of scientific context so we understand how the mind works. Like the mind is not there, is somewhere else, and the mind is not who you are. It's just something that you have at your disposal to use wisely. But most of us, and especially myself in the past, we were identified with the way we think. We think that our thoughts are ours and that our identity, who we are, is here inside of here. So this voice that is all the time thinking and having thoughts and kind of not living us alone is not who we are. Okay, we might even say it can be even a parasite that is taking over you. So the process that we do in Discover Your Gift, first of all, is understanding that this is totally not natural. We are born in a matrix. We are born in a society, in a family, in a culture, in a time. And we have all these thoughts of this conditioning that we had through our family. Okay. Um, so it's natural that we think that we are these thoughts. But the process first is to understand how the mind works, then uncovering the pattern of your thoughts. You're going to see that your thoughts follow a same pattern. When I say, I'm going to explain all of this in a whiteboard, but when we say that the thoughts follow a pattern, is that the thoughts have a same tonality, have kind of a same color. They are looking for something. So that's exactly what we have to uncover. Why I have all these thoughts? It's because I'm looking for something where outside of myself. And that's the key of our suffering, because we are constantly looking at that and it's not never going to end. So what we have to do is understand this pattern, understand the thought pattern, which is also called personality. Today we're going to talk about the personality. We are also going to talk about the ego. And then after reframing it, we have to step back from it and use it in our advantage, use it in a way that is more wise. Because if we are identified with our thought pattern, what happens is that we do and we choose unhealthy, we take unhealthy decisions, we have unhealthy choices that lead us to a lot of dissatisfaction and unfulfillment. Okay. So let's go to our whiteboard. I'm going to put my personal example as I always put so you can understand what I'm talking about. But I'm going to share my screen. So I'm going to take my personal example so you can understand what I'm talking about when I say a mental pattern. Okay. I'm going to choose a pen. I'm going to do it like this. So let's take Bruno. Let's take Bruno with 20 years old, which is, so what was Bruno doing 20 years old, like in the past? Okay, so he was going to university and he was doing engineering and he was doing economy. So 2 degrees in different universities. He was going to the gym 6 days a week for a couple of hours. He was learning languages. And also, well, he was doing more stuff, but probably like all that he was doing was doing all of these things. He wanted to go to the gym, learn languages, and take the best grades at university. Actually, he was doing two. All of this at the end was the thought of Bruno is I have to have great notes. I have to, or I need to, or I must even. Those are the thought patterns. I must have the best grades. Okay, like a 10 out of 10. In Spain, it's like this is the best grade, a 10. So I have to be the best of the class, actually. Actually, to the best of the class, they give like a gift at the end of the course. The gym, I need to have a six up. I have to have big muscles and look sexy. Why? Because this makes me interesting. Oh wow, there's someone studying at 2 universities. taking good grades, he looks sexy, let's say, and he, speaks tons of, I speak 7 languages. So he speaks so many, so super so what is this person? Why is Bruno doing all of this? Right? Because this makes him external validation. So what people are valuable for? And Bruno thought that what makes valuable is if you're interesting, you're sexy, you speak different languages, you have good grades, you have a good job, and all of that. That is what I thought personally, Bruno, that was a validation from the outside. So of course, what was this driving me to? All this construct. So what is the construct of Bruno? What is the construct? Is the achiever, the triumpher, the best, we could say. This is the construct. This is what I was telling you about. This is the identity of Bruno. And this is not true. Why? Because this drives me. So the decisions that I make are always gonna be, focused on making this true. So this is my identity. This is what I have to protect. This is who am I, right? Who I am. So I need to protect this. In every decision that I make, the result has to be this, because this is who I am. If I'm not achiever, if not a triumpher, I'm a loser. So there's something here that Bruno fears, the fear of losing or the fear of not winning. So Bruno has to win. And this is very, very personal. Like if you, in your case, you have this type of personality, it's not about, you cannot lose, you cannot fail. So this is what Bruno really, really fears at the end. There's a fear behind this identity, because if what's uncovering this? So this goes deeper, right? So basically, I want to stop here the video. This is what you have to do with your case. Well, this is what we do in Discover Your Gift. This is the first part. Like, we uncover your mental construct and we dismantle it so we can reframe it in a healthier relationship with you. In my case, as you can see, it's like I have to win. Like, I have to win. Okay, this was my paranoia. Okay, and if I lose, I won't lose. And actually, I never lose, right? Because if I lose, what's going to happen? And at the end, this always goes back to the same question. And it's that I'm not going to be loved. So there's a fear of, if I lose or fail, not loved. And if I succeed, I am loved. But the problem is that this is a mental pattern that I personally don't see there's a problem here. The only problem is that this is very unfulfilling and is very tiring. Why? Because you have to take so much energy into proving that this is right. You have to always sit there. And what happens to this type of personality is that when you go, this is like you're here and you have a mountain, this is like an objective. So when this person gets to the mountain, he wins what he wants to win. It can be a race, it can be the best grades, it can be making so much money. Then you're already looking at the next flag and the next objective. This person. So one of the problems of this person is that he cannot enjoy. So there's a lack of enjoyment because there's no place for enjoyment. There's only place for work and achievement. There's no leisure. There's just work and achievement. This type of people can be workaholics. And hey, there's nine constructs, okay? This is one of them. So what we have to uncover is this type of your constructs, okay? I'm just explaining my type of construct. Well, so what do we have to reframe here? We have to reframe that this is just not good for me. This is unhealthy. So you're going to see that all of the constructs have something in common. They are unhealthy. They are unhealthy patterns that we have learned through our childhood, through our, teenage years, and then we carry on our adulthood, in our relationships, in our partnerships, in the work that we do, and it's definitely not healthy. Why? Because my decisions are driving me to keep making a unreal identity true. In my case, is the one that has the best body, the most sexy. So what is it is driving me? Always going to the gym, and having to train to have that body to, give truth to the identity of I'm sexy. But what we have to do here is reframe all of this. So in my case, what I have to reframe is that, I achieving or triumphing is not gonna make other people love me, right? What other people like me because I'm authentic. And that's the reframe of this type of personality, is that what you have to look for is authenticity, not vanity. So I'm gonna put here. So what is the reframe? So this is the first step, right? I was talking about steps. This is what we do at Discover Your Gift. Is step one is understand your ego or your mental construct. Step two, which is what I'm doing right now, is reframe it. Because all my decisions, my decisions, which drive my experiences, are here to what? Give truth to this. So what we have to do is reframe this identity, right? So I'm not here to be vain. So what is the reframement? Instead of doing things for other people validation, which is vanity, I'm going to do authenticity, which is I'm going to do what I want. And the right people will like me because of who I am, not of what I do. Okay. Or what I achieve or what I accomplish. This was my reframe. And when I did this, the whole thing changed because I started making decisions based on what I wanted. But here there's this next step of the journey, which is what do you want to do? Right? And you can be like, I don't know. So that's why we need a different tool. In this case, would be human design to teach you your gifts, to teach you your intuition, to teach you how you function. And this is not who you are. This is who you are. Right? This is the next step of the journey. So we are not done here, but this video is just to explain the construct of the mind. So I'm going to go further. Now I've explained my personal case. So you have like an example. Of course, we can have different variations of actually from these 9 constructs. Then we have 3 instincts. It's called the sexual instinct, the social instinct, and the conservative instinct. In my case, I was a sexual instinct, in the sense that all of this is just to have all of this is then to attract women. Okay, that's why the sexy here. All of this is to attract more mates, but this depends on your personality. So we not only have 9, so 9 times 3 makes 27. So basically we have 27 types of personalities, but also we have some connections between the personalities. So we can be one personality and have a little bit of a second one. So then we have lots of variations. So this is not like there's only 9. There's 9 times 3 instincts, and then there's different combinations. So it's a lot of variations. That's why it's important to either do it with someone or have a step-by-step plan. That's what we give you at Discover Your Gift, so you can do it by yourself. If of course you want guidance, you want help on this, because you will need it, in the sense that you can be lost in all this mind. It's always ideal to have help with someone. It can be with me, it can be with another person, a therapist, a psychologist, someone that really understands this type of work will help you tremendously in getting out of that mental narrative, you know? So to end the video, I want to explain the science of the brain, which is what I was explaining. And it's that now that we talk about this, I can go somewhere else and start talking about our personality. Our personality is our personal reality. And today we were talking about thoughts. The process is that we have thoughts. These thoughts create choices, decisions, and these create experiences. And these experiences create emotions or feelings, which is the way that we, experience life, is through emotions and feelings. And these emotions and feelings create, again, thoughts. So what happens when we have the same thoughts every single day? So same thoughts give to same choices, same experiences, same emotions. So as I was saying, these emotions are certainly unfulfillment and dissatisfaction. When you don't know what you're here to do, what you're not here, you don't know who you are, you don't have clarity, you're not whole within you, you're just in your mind, right? This is how you feel, okay? Because you're disconnected from your truth, your purpose, who you are, right? So what do we have to do? If we want to have different experiences so we feel differently, firstly, we have to change our thoughts. And our thoughts create our identity, create our personality. Our personal reality, which is the experiences that we feel, create our personal reality, which is our personality. So our personality can change. Our thoughts can change. And the way to change it, so how do we change our thoughts? Well, first, as I was saying, we have to understand them. And we understand them by uncovering the pattern, what in the identity that we have built around ourselves. And for that, we use the 9 personalities framework that we use at Discover Your Gift. One of them was the one that I was explaining about myself. The second step is to reframe it, because we can change. We are like, something important here is that we are not going to change the ego. The ego is something that we have and we must have to make sense of our reality, okay? Because there's a lot of talk about, hey, let's get rid of the ego, let's transcend the ego, and let's be no one. No. This is not the narrative that we have in Discover Your Gift. I respect it, I understand it, but we are unique. Our personality gives us so many things that are unique to us. So the goal here is to not reject who we are, is to fall in love with who we are and be ourselves. We have a personality and we have a uniqueness that is fun and it's amazing and it's unique. So why should we transcend something that is beautiful, right? The only thing is that we have to reframe it and we have to, make it something that is called the light version of it. In my case, the achiever, the winner, the successful. Well, all those qualities are amazing for business, are amazing for teamwork, are amazing to accomplish things that can help other people, that can serve other people and not serve myself. So instead of using all that energy that I was using personally to go to the gym, to study so many languages, to go to university and become interesting and talking to all these women, well, I can use all that energy that I have into building businesses that can help other people, like I'm doing here right now on Discover Your Gift, which is one of my brands, okay? Each one of us has a different potentiality, has a different strengths. In my case, is you will see a lot of these people with this personality, like myself, are a lot of doers, achievers. They have different businesses, they have different projects, because that's in their blood. There's their nature. There's nothing wrong with that. In a way, if we do it because we want to do it, not because someone will give us that external validation that we're looking for. So this is the reframe that I'm talking about. And this is what we have to do. And this is what we do in Discover Your Gift, is really reframing our thought pattern. So this pattern, we're gonna reframe it, okay? And then we start connecting with our intuition, which is the next step. Because I was saying we can reframe it, we can do these two steps, but then we have to move towards our dream, our vision, our who we truly are, which is not this identity that we've constructed, which is the ego. So then we have to connect with who we truly are, which is the body, not the mind. And this is another step on the journey that I will not cover in this video. But what I'm explaining here is basically the step by step that we follow in the journey of Discover Your Gift. Understanding that your thoughts are not who you are. Your thoughts are basically tied to the identity that you have constructed. So if you want to have different thoughts, you can. You just have to reframe this identity into a healthier version. When I say reframe, I mean going from an unhealthy identity to a healthy one. That's it. That's all it takes. And for that, we use this personality framework to understand your personality, and every personality has an unhealthy side and a healthy side. Okay? But your thoughts are not who you are. Okay? And it's something very important to understand. So if you're interested in uncovering your personality, you have a sense of a little bit of the pattern. You can already practice. You can look at your thoughts. You can look at what you're looking for, and then you will uncover what you're actually looking for. Of course, sometimes you can be a little bit lost because the mind is a complex apparatus. So we need this type of tools like the one we use in Discover Your Gift to uncover really clearly, okay, this is actually what I'm looking for. And for that, you probably need some help because the mind and the ego don't want to be uncovered. Okay. The ego wants to survive. It doesn't want to be uncovered and reframed. So it's going to make the ego is going to make it difficult for you to uncover it and unmask it and reframe it. So sometimes it's good to have the help, the guidance of someone like myself, in this case, that has gone through this journey. So in Discover Your Gift, we always give you the option to do it yourself, and you do it self-paced, do it at your time, do it alone. And we also offer the guidance and mentorship with other students. So you can choose your options. If you want to start your journey, you'll find a link below that'll take you to the landing page. We'll explain you a little bit what the journey is about. And then you can choose if you want to start it right now, the journey, and we see inside of the container. So see you on the next videos.